Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, and I have not washed my hair yet, but I want to try and get some of these things out, so I have my fishing hat on. One of the things I want to look at here before we get into a lot of other things is the actual literature study that we would have been doing together. The first part, and I will have all this up on Blackboard for you. One of the first things is what we would have done. Here's a list of the class, and I have all the files in my office. Of course, we can't do that. But um, what we would have done with this list is from the list of students, you were going to have to choose 10. We were going to make up our own fictitious classroom, and one of the students needed to have an IEP. One of the students needed to be an ESL student. One needed to be an ethnicity other than your own who's not an ESL and who does not have an IEP. Then we would have made a class roster of those children. And because we have IEP and we have an ESL student, we would have had to accommodate for each piece. So the first part here is the first part is describe how you're going to read the book in your classroom, accommodating for the students who might have difficulty. You're not going to read all the same every day. Perhaps you would start, one of the best ways to do this is to start with teachers reading the first chapter or two to get the kids into it to discuss it. Then you might take a chapter and do a buddy read, or have them read in paragraph form only if you assign their paragraph the day before to give them chance to read. Then you might have them read some on their own. You could get the book on a CD or audio book online. You could have someone online pull a chapter from online and have them listen to it all while you are practicing with them following in their book. How are you going to have them read, and how are you going to accommodate for those students who may have a struggle with it? Okay. The next thing is, how are you going to activate background knowledge? We were going to brainstorm, just completely brainstorm background knowledge. How would you accommodate those kids? What two pieces, just two pieces of background knowledge, whether it is specific to Denmark during World War II, specific to King Christian X, specific to the Jews and the non-Jews, whatever the background knowledge, we were going to try to find two. And then how are you going to activate that background? What are you going to do? Are you going to have them research some pieces? Are you going to have them um, do a KWL with it? How are you going to activate their background? Are you going to use an anticipation guide? Are you going to use whatever you're going to use to teach that background? Then the next piece here, setting the purpose. What are the purposes for reading? When you set purposes for reading, you set the purpose so broadly that they have to read to the end of the chapter, of the book, whatever, to get the answer. Because if you set them too narrow, when they find the answer, they're going to stop reading. So we have to set purposes for reading our book. And if we set a purpose, let's say we set a purpose because one of the things was an overall purpose for reading the book. If we set the overall purpose as we might say, cite the ways Anne Marie changed throughout the book. We are going to we're telling the students that she did. Okay, we're telling the students that she did because we're asking them how. That would be okay. But to say, but then we could also couch it in, did Anne Marie change during the book? Yes or no? And how, why, or why not? Cite text evidence. We have to make it broad enough that they can't answer the question until the end of the read, whether it's one chapter, one page, or an entire book. What can we do there to set our purposes? Then vocabulary, you would be keeping, obviously you would have teacher selected, and then you would let the students select vocabulary. and there's a graphic organizer that will be up, and it's called the Alpha Boxes. The Alpha Boxes is only one of a myriad of graphic organizers dealing with vocabulary learning. And what I have on here, as far as what we were going to do with it, we were going to use the Alpha Boxes to organize vocabulary. And then we were going to use a strategy called a Frayer Foursquare, which I will also put up for you. The idea of a Frayer Foursquare is that you choose a vocabulary word. When you put the vocabulary word with, then you can do multiple things with it. But the most important thing is that you put a picture to the word for instant recognition. To do that, if you remember back to the early literacy class, to put a picture to a word, the word must be concrete. It must be a noun or an action verb to do a Frayer Foursquare. You can do multiple things with it, and we will talk more about Frayer Foursquare later. Then I have, then we have, we're not going to do number 6 here. I need to tap into a different one and change that because we're not going to do a web quest. Then I have graphic organizers here that I will explain each one. And then we're going to talk about the literature study activities in just in a while. The first thing I want to do here is to put up this pre-reading strategy that there will be a copy of up on Blackboard for your dining and dancing pleasure. So this is a pre-reading strategy. Find someone who, and I've made this specific to Number the Stars. So you have your children in your classroom, find someone who can, and I've given you an example here. Draw a Star of David, and they can put their drawing or the explanation here, and then they sign it. You can only have one student for each one, so you have to have 6 different people do this. Who can draw a swastika? Who can tell you the difference between the Axis and the Allies? Do they have that much background? Who can find Denmark on a map? You have a map of Europe, and who can find Denmark? Just remember, if you're using maps for a study such as Number the Stars, you're going to have a map of Europe during that time. A map of Europe today is going to look much different than a map of Europe during World War II. Who can identify the Allied countries? Who can identify the Axis countries? This one asks the difference. This one asks for identification. Can you tell me who the Allies and the Axis powers were? The next thing I want you to look at, what happened to my PDFs? I don't know where they went. Here they are. The next thing here I want you to look at are some of the graphic organizers. And I want to look first at the Alpha Boxes because we just talked about Alpha Boxes. The Alpha Box strategy, this explains it. We would have actually been doing this. But what you're doing is you are taking words and you're putting them in the box. They don't have to be in alphabetical order. You're just putting them in a box with the letter that the word begins with, and it's just a simple, basic vocabulary strategy. There are multiple vocabulary strategies out there. There's one out there that is really good when you're working with these, and they're called vocabulary bookmarks. You can actually have your kids have bookmarks as they're reading. They can write vocabulary and use it as a bookmark in the place where they are in the reading of the book. And I will get something up on Blackboard for you in regard to vocabulary bookmarks. So we are going to stop this one right here, and then we're going to go on with other things in regard to the literature study.